Myanmar, Tzu Chi volunteers distribute rice and cooking oil to 400 households. In our feature report, we take a look at how big data and technology are used to train young hand scrapers. Selamat datang ke DaAi Headlines, saya Simon Gan. Terima kasih menyertai sesi berita kita. In Myanmar, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived in Hmawbi Township, distributing rice and cooking oil to 400 households. Take a look.
Before the distribution, farmers arrive early at the entrance. Tzu Chi Myanmar Liaison Office has been distributing rice to 433 families in Hmawbi Township.
During the pandemic, job opportunities greatly decreased and some families live in debt. Now with the rice and cooking oil, it helps them a lot. Seeing them receive supplies sparks joy in me.
Many of these farmers came from other regions in the nation, employed by landlords to manage livestock and do farm works. But after the pandemic, many people were unable to purchase vegetables. Therefore, these farmers are unable to earn any income, causing life to become difficult.
We have children at home that worry about food. With Tzu Chi's rice and cooking oil, we're able to eat for a month. I'm very happy. Thank you for your donations.
37-year-old Yu Min is the breadwinner of the family, but is unemployed for months. The rice tank at home is fully depleted by now.
The rice tank is filled and I'm very happy. I've also collected the rice bank so I may help others in the future.
With Tzu Chi's assistance, Yu Min no longer has to worry about his children not having food to eat. His wife may also peacefully wait for the arrival of a new family member.
In Banqiao, Miss Liao has to take care of her paralyzed son. For more than 30 years, she has taken good care of him without regrets. Recently, the restroom in her house leaked. Tzu Chi volunteers help her repair her restroom and also clean up her living environment. Take a look.
When he was in 5th grade at age of 13, he had a fever. Then he became unconscious. He was hospitalized for 50 days till 2 months. He was unconscious and the cause of his condition could not be found.
After her son woke up, his cranial nerves had been damaged.
In the past, he could walk. However, for the past 6 to 7 years, because he would beat me up till I have bruises, we gave him shots. Then he lost strength in his limbs and could not walk anymore. Xin Hong lies there 24 hours a day. She helps turn his body every 2 hours. When it's time to eat, she carries him to the chair. There's a chair for him. Then she feeds him. She changes the bed sheets every day. The bed sheets need to be changed. I feel that she is now dedicated to care for her son.
She takes care of her son without regrets. Her only worry is that her restroom is leaking.
The tube is in there. The tube is broken. It is here. This is the waste transportation pipe from upstairs. It is broken.
Volunteers repair the restroom and also clean up the environment. When the care recipients return home, they're nicely surprised.
No people have done so much for me. They gave me cleaning tools, supplies, and food. In addition, they have cleaned up the place for me. What else could I ask for? This is very complete.
妈妈每天照顾你，你有没有很感谢她？有啊。那你要不要谢谢妈妈？你跟妈妈说什么？感恩。
For most people, heading to a cafe and drinking coffee is a very simple thing. But for Yang Minghui, who suffered a stroke and relies on the respirator, it is truly a difficult task. However, the head nurse who took care of Minghui made a promise to have coffee with her just to encourage her to continue on her rehabilitation and regain her normal life. Let's take a look. 3 months after she suffered a stroke, Minghui's body was all paralyzed. She also lost the ability to speak and swallow, but her conscience is still very clear. Blinking her eyes was the only way she was able to communicate with the outside world.
When we were communicating with her, we only rely on her blinking her eye. We'll ask questions and she will blink 1 time or 2 times to answer. For example, when we asked if she was hungry, we will also tell her blink 1 time for yes and 2 times if she's not. So we use simple communication methods to know her needs.
Yu Jialun is the head nurse of the neurosurgery wards. The patients here are mostly those who have injured heads or spines. After Yang Minghui left the intensive care unit, she continued to receive further care and stem cell treatment in her ward.
Back then, we were also resting here. Xiaohui was looking at the sky and I was chatting with her mother. Xiaohui once worked in a bank, and during lunchtime, she has a habit of heading out to buy a cup of coffee. We saw that there's a coffee shop right below, so we told her that we're going to bring her there and have a look. We made a promise that if she recovers quickly, we'll then remove her respirators and head down to have a cup of coffee together.
可以吗？可以。哦，你知道我真的很喜欢病人，他们站在这边做复健。对哈，他也是可以呀。来，自己站，很好，来。你们觉得这个 view 其实也蛮不错的？哇，回眸一笑的部分，怎么那么漂亮？
After she was discharged from the hospital, she planned her own daily rehabilitation plan for 3 days a week. She'll also take the paratransit bus to the hospital to check on her rehabilitation process.
Okay, 来，对。
The first time I met her was in the ward, when she just transferred from Ilan. From being unable to move on the bed, to seeing her able to make simple movements, practicing her limbs to move up and down beside her bed, and now being able to sit and stand.
我们要从床边练习一些站下肌力训练，慢慢练坐到站。
有进步一些啊，刚回来他是因为。
She has improved a lot. When she first came back home due to the stroke, her face was different. Even her daughter was afraid to look at her because her face was really different than before. It is much better now. Her looks are returning back to normal. It's really different. She looks good now.
什么都变很多了，现在又有变回来，差很多了啦，差很多了，比较好看了啦，不会那么好。 不会像以前那么难看了啦。
病人的脑子的意愿哈。
The patient's will is actually very important, as long as the patient has the will to want to recover. For example, if they want to sing, want to move around, and even do typing, as long as there's a goal being set, it can be achieved. Through the patient's own determination and add on the stem cell treatment, and also traditional Chinese medicine and some physiotherapy, the results will be phenomenal.
生性的干细胞疗法外加的啦，或是病人我们用中医啊，或是复健啊，那个效果真的是非常好。
Drinking coffee together is the promise between Minghui and the medical staff. It is also the first step for her to return to a normal life after her illness. It is hoped that the love and care provided will encourage Minghui to continue living her life with courage. In the Philippines, Terima members provided much love and care to the patients just to enable the patients to regain their sights once again. Here's more.
Nailani's cataract has deteriorated rapidly since last year, leading her to almost lose her vision. Terima members arranged a surgery for her, but the patient's body size is a big challenge.
Challenge natin is how to position the patient. So what we do is to use our recovery recovery room bed and then position it in such a way that it would be comfortable both for the patient and the surgeon.
After all, it is not an operating bed, and the attending doctor seems to be in a difficult posture when doing the surgery. But she bore the discomfort and only cares about the patient's condition.
Patient is also very brave. She's quite aware of the risk factors. She also has to really have enough strength and strong will to proceed with our surgery today.
The doctor is very warm, so even though I was very nervous at first, I was able to calm down in the end.
Just like treating their own family members, Terima members carefully monitor the process and accompany the patient before and after surgery, hoping to give the best care to the patient.
Pagdating mo dito sa foundation na to, talagang hindi ka nila pababayaan.
In the olden days, to become a hand scraper, one must learn for 3 years. But now, through technology and big data, movements can be quantified, and along with the VR simulation, one is able to acquire the skill sets of this traditional craft in just 40 hours. Follow a report as we learn more.
Wearing a sensor, the hand scraper's movements are recorded and translated into big data. Hand scraping is a technique used for maintaining precise machinery. With each cut less than 1 centimeter, this highly precise craft requires at least 3 years and 4 months to learn. Difficulties arise from the usage of one's force and balance. Now, through a sensor, we're able to quantify the force applied by hand scrapers.
Like this sensor, it's all silicone, because silicone itself isn't conductive, and in order for it to be conductive, we added in nanomaterial.
Hand scraping is used to maintain and fix the accuracy of machinery, a manual technique used to specifically increase the lifespan of machine components. In recent years, as hand scrapers retire one by one, the tradition of hand scraping faces challenges. Quantifiable data is especially beneficial to students wanting to learn hand scraping. Now they are able to learn the correct amount of force applied through big data.
As you can see, the student is ready to do hand scraping. Now look at the tool. It has sensors. The student has a sensor too. Through the screen here, we're able to see the quantified force numerals. There's also another sensor under the student.
Installing sensors on the shoes and hand scraper, the system provides feedback and data while the teacher demonstrates the know-how. Like playing a video game, once the student achieves a point goal, they'll be rewarded. Through VR goggles and sensors installed nearby, students immerse themselves as it only takes 40 hours to learn, different from the traditional methods requiring 2 to 3 years of learning.
It helps because now we can quantify the force as numbers, and this will definitely produce great results in the machine tool industry.
Dr. Zhong developed and laser printed his sensors, and with the help of silicon usage, the original intention for medical use may also apply to assisting in hand scraping courses.
We produce sensors that detect pressure. As you can see on the devices, there are materials that provide detection. The hand scraping tool actually has multiple sensors installed, like this pressure sensor here and the 9-axis sensor here. With this, we're able to know the movements of the tool.
After installing sensors on the tool, researchers are able to quantify movements and force into numbers. With the data, they're able to know if the user is correct in action. Further uses of this technology also expands to the medical field, allowing doctors to better understand patients undergoing physical rehabilitation.
Actually, from the start, I didn't know who hand scraping teachers are, but because I was in the mechanical engineering field before, I was requested to use the sensors in the field of hand scraping.
The sensors developed by Dr. Zhuang have a wide variety of uses, applying to both medical and education fields. With the sensors, movements can be observed and written into numbers, allowing more precise and efficient work. Who would have thought that this tiny sensor would become the medium in continuing the art of hand scraping?
In Batu Pahat, Malaysia, a care recipient suffered a stroke and caused him to be depressed. As his home is quite messy and dirty, Tzu Chi volunteers hurried to visit and clean up. Here's more.
The gate is broken and the ceiling is collapsed as the person here seems to be living amongst ruins.
His sister submitted the report last September. She said he had a stroke and was very depressed and even thought about suicide. These negative thoughts led us to come quickly.
When someone was asked to calculate the repair cost that day, he didn't dare to do it because it was too expensive. It could cost more than $2,500 and he didn't dare to move things because it could lead the whole house to collapse.
Tzu Chi volunteers found a way to remove the obstacles and clean the house, as well as hire a professional to connect electricity and install lights.
After communicating with him, we said because he lives alone, we moved the place where he sleeps to the living room. This is because the air in the living room is very good and everything can be done in the living room. This includes boiling water and sleeping.
Tzu Chi brothers and sisters worked very hard. They worked very hard to help him clean up his house.
At the same time, there was an arrangement for him to receive acupuncture.
It's really an encouragement and something that gave me confidence. To be honest, I really feel helpless.
The door of his heart is now open and the space is bright, and his health can now improve.
In Tainan, students from Tzu Chi Elementary School took the time to step into the neighborhood and clean the environment. The students also delivered Jingsi aphorisms to the residents. Let's take a look.
Each with a pair of tongs and a pail in hand, the students of Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School's elementary division step into the community around their school to do street cleaning.
I think people should not litter. That way the environment can be cleaner and better.
I hope that people will stop smoking, because in addition to improving their personal health, it is also better for the earth.
The majority of litter we pick up today was plastic and straw wrappings. We should really stop using so much plastic, and everyone should use reusable utensils more.
In addition to street cleaning, the students also delivered Jingsi aphorisms to the residents in the neighborhood.
By delivering spring couplets, we can bring joy to others. I think it's a really good thing.
The community has always been so helpful and patient with us, so we hope that through this event, the children are able to get to know the residents better and they'll become more familiar with each other.
The students experienced the joy of giving by taking action to show appreciation for the community, filling the school and the community with the celebratory atmosphere of the new year.
In Shanghai, due to the pandemic, Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremony was changed to a community-based event. 4 different sessions were held with no more than 100 participants for each session. Here's more.
Registering names and taking temperatures as well as alcohol disinfection are all carried out to ensure that everyone can safely participate in the year-end blessing ceremony. Shanghai Tzu Chi members upheld the highest standards of epidemic prevention.
We are proactive and not passive in preventing the epidemic. It's not like others tell us what to do. We're actively carrying this out. In fact, for the management of Yuan Building, we took the initiative to inform them about the prevention measures.
Over 2 days, 4 sessions were held with no more than 100 people in each session. 10 medical staff from Hudong Hospital returned with bamboo coin banks. They said their happiest thing was to participate in a free clinic in Kongdang Village.
Going with the Tzu Chi sisters to do such a kind deed in 2020 was something that was very touching for me.
感动自己的一件事情。
There's also a video presentation showing good deeds and volunteers sharing how to do kind actions in the community. Though this year was not as big as previous years, it was still quite touching.
I saw that Tzu Chi is doing a lot. We want to do it, but we dare not take that step. Maybe I don't have the courage to face others, or maybe I don't have the courage to face myself. But Tzu Chi and some other charities are already doing this, and it has inspired me.
Donating bamboo coin banks was another action which helped pass on the love at this end-of-year event.
In Jiayi, Tzu Chi volunteer Zhong Jingzhi has been doing recycling for 21 years and has also joined the Tzu Chi kitchen team. Let's take a look at her story.
Zhong Jingzhi is very skilled in sorting. Since 2000, she has been volunteering at a recycling station every day. At the age of 77, she is never too tired to do recycling.
It's a blessing to be able to do it. I can do recycling and sorting. I can sort plastic bags. I can be a kitchen volunteer as well. If it's my turn, I'll do it. I cook vegetarian food and everyone enjoys.
At the Jiayi liaison office, she is a member of the kitchen team. What she is most happy about is that everyone goes vegetarian, is healthy and loves the earth.
She's really serious. For example, when Jingsi Dharma masters come, she's in charge of their meals. Because she does Tzu Chi with her heart, she has achieved Tzu Chi in herself.
I liked to study when I was young, but my family was poor and I couldn't go to school. I am grateful to the master that there is a study club for me to join. I am blessed that I can harbor the Buddha's aspirations and follow it as our own. I will take the master's Dharma by my side to keep me on to this path.
Before joining Tzu Chi, she thought she had a bad temper, but now she changed it. She also filled her mind with Dharma by participating in a study club.
This year, Neihu Tzu Chi volunteers held a stem cell registry event during the year-end blessing ceremony. A total of 70 people registered from the stem cell donation, increasing the chance of a blood cancer patient to find the right match.
The black truck, with a video constantly playing on it, is the most eye-catching spot in the year-end blessing ceremony of Tzu Chi Neihu grounds.
We have specially rented a promotion truck and played a video to attract more people to join our blood test activity.
Neihu Tzu Chi volunteers hold a year-end blessing ceremony and at the same time host a stem cell registry event. Many people have waited for this chance for a long time.
I have been tracking this activity for a year and finally have this opportunity to register today. We may be the only hope for the blood cancer patients, so if there's a chance, I am willing to help those in need.
Today, our year-end blessing ceremony is hosted in line with a stem cell registry. For those who cannot find the right match before, maybe he or she will be able to find the right match this time.
During the event, apart from 70 people registering for stem cell donation, the bone marrow care volunteers and bone marrow recipients also go on the stage to express their gratitude. It is hoped that this power of life-saving will be expanded continuously.
In Tainan, Tzu Chi volunteers head into rural areas to give Jingsi aphorisms to the elementary school students, planting the seeds of love in the hearts of the children. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.